Hi guys! I hope you're having a great day today. It's very cloudy today in Moscow, but I hope that doesn't ruin anyone's day. For me, it's actually better. I love weather like this, so I'm in a great mood. How about you? Tell me in the comments, please. Share your feelings with me. We are talking about tasks 19 through 24 today. I'm going to give you all the strategies and all the tips that are going to help you be amazing at 19 through 24 in our exam. ЕГЭ. Right? If you are studying for ОГЭ right now, well, this is also going to be helpful to you because in ОГЭ you have very similar tasks, 20 through 28. So stay connected. Let's do this. While we're waiting for other people to join us, yes, let's talk about me for a little tiny bit. I am Dana, and I'm a senior methodologist and teacher at the online school Учёба.ру. I graduated from MSLU, which is one of the best universities in, well, Russia, right? Or yeah, I would say the world because it's absolutely amazing, especially if you want to study languages, especially the English language. I graduated from the faculty of the English language, and well, then I got my international teacher's certificate. So I'm absolutely qualified to teach you English. I also got 100 points for ЕГЭ, which, well, is kind of relative here, right? Not relative, sorry, but I don't know. I guess it's very important, right? As I am helping you prepare for the same exam. So yeah, 100 points for me. I hope you'll get the same result. The most important fact about me, if you ask me, then that's the fact that I'm absolutely in love with the language that I'm speaking now and with the language that you are studying right now. I'm also studying this language, by the way. I never stop. So yeah, you shouldn't either. Never stop. Studying and learning languages, I don't know, that's an absolutely amazing journey that you can take at any point in your life. And I'm very happy to see that you are doing it right now. Guys, I'm not alone today, right? I'm with the online school Учёба.ру. And well, we got 5,000 students that got amazing results with us. 80 plus for ОГЭ, sorry, for ЕГЭ, and 5 points for ОГЭ. We teach kids and students different subjects, right? From math to English to ICT on a very modern platform where you get everything that you need in one place in your profile. We have different programs for different levels, right? And for different, well, grades, right? We prepare kids for ЕГЭ and ОГЭ. And yes, we also guarantee you a place, a budgeted place at a university if you do everything that we ask of you, right? Do your homework, write all the mock exams, go to classes online, you ask your questions. So yeah, that's a very good motivation if you ask me. 50, 50, can you imagine? That's an amazing, a huge number, right? 50 experienced teachers and methodologists here work for you for you to just get better, right, at subjects and pass your exams at an excellent level. All right, guys, and we are starting, right, with our topic 19 through 24. I am going to speak a little Russian today because, well, our instructions at the exam are in Russian for whatever reason. Don't ask me, I have no idea. So, прочитайте приведенные ниже тексты. Это наше задание, да? Преобразуйте, если необходимо, слова, напечатанные заглавными буквами в конце строк, обозначенных номерами 19-24, так, чтобы они грамматически соответствовали содержанию текстов. Заполните пропуски полученными словами. Каждый пропуск соответствует отдельному заданию из группы 19-24. Что для нас тут важно? Ну, на самом деле, немного. Вот, но давайте все-таки посмотрим. Ам, Во-первых, вот это, если необходимо. Что это значит? Это значит, что иногда нет необходимости преобразовывать слово, да, то есть если вам кажется, что слово в той форме, в которой оно стоит прямо здесь, то есть в своей первоначальной форме, подходит по контексту в пропуск, не надо его менять просто на что-нибудь, лишь бы поменять. Да, это важно для нас, потому что это прописано прямо в задании. Такое бывает очень редко, но все-таки такое бывает, да. Поэтому всегда sorry about that. Make sure that you actually need to change the word, right? Don't get confused if you don't, and don't put the word into just any other form, right? We need the correct one, and sometimes the basic form is the correct form, right? What else is important here? Грамматически соответствовали. Что вот это для нас значит? Почему это для нас важно? Это значит, что мы не можем поменять это слово, само слово, да, мы не можем поменять его на другую часть речи, например. Мы можем только изменить форму, грамматическую форму слова, да, то есть, например, у нас здесь слово one в первом задании, да, мы не можем поменять его на once, например, да, или на only, да, потому что это другое слово, да, мы поменяем его не грамматически, а лексически, и так уже делать нельзя. Да, для лексических изменений у нас есть задание 25-29, где мы образуем новые слова, однокоренные новые слова от тех, что есть у нас тут в списочке. В 19-24 мы не можем образовывать новые слова, мы не можем образовывать новые части речи, нам нужно оставить то слово, которое у нас вот здесь в столбике справа, да, просто изменить его грамматическую форму. И, в общем-то, это все, что важно нам из этой инструкции. Отдельно хочется сказать, пожалуйста, не тратьте свое драгоценное время на этом экзамене на то, чтобы читать эту инструкцию. Она всегда абсолютно одинаковая, она всегда здесь есть. Если вдруг по какой-то странной причине, ну, может быть, из-за стресса, да, вы забыли, что надо делать, то вот тут можно, конечно, посмотреть. Но вообще если вы готовитесь хотя бы год, да, к этому экзамену, если вы начинаете в 11 классе, то вы уже прекрасно знаете все эти номера заданий, все инструкции, все лайфхаки, стратегии, и поэтому не тратите, пожалуйста, свое время на прочтение инструкции в очередной раз, она ничего нового вам не расскажет. Посмотрим на сами задания, да. 19-24. Вот тут справа у нас всегда есть слово, которое нам нужно как-то преобразовать, положить в необходимую форму, да, и записать, ну, вот сюда, конечно, можно записать, да, но вообще у нас есть бланк ответов, в который вам нужно будет записать, собственно, это одно слово. Ну, одно или несколько, но записать их нужно будет без пробелов, без знаков препинания, как будто это одно слово, no matter how many there actually are. Давайте посмотрим на чуть-чуть административных таких штук про эти задания. 6 correct answers, you get 6 points, right? So there are 6 gaps in usually 2 texts, right? Like we had here, 2 texts, right? Text number 1, text number 2, right? So the sentences here are connected to each other, right? That's important to remember because, well, if they're connected to each other, then sometimes they are going to help us, right, decide, for example, on the tense, right? When you have a verb in tasks like these in 19 through 24, you should definitely look at the whole text, right, at the whole context, what happened when, draw a picture in your mind, right, of all the events that happened there, and from that you get the logic of which tense to actually use, right? Of course there are time markers, of course there are other verb forms and stuff like that, but getting the meaning, getting the idea of the text, getting the plot, right, as much as there can be of a plot in like 3 sentences, but still that's important to us. That's how we don't make any mistakes. Right, getting back. 6 correct answers, 6 points, right? 6 primary points, I mean. We do have to use full forms, right? So we don't write, I don't know, don't play, right? No, we write do not play, right? The full form. Why so? Why is it so? Well, because see, we have all the letters here, right? All the punctuation marks, and we do not have apostrophe, right? This is a comma. We do not have an apostrophe in our answer sheets, so it's better. It's so much better and so much safer, right? To write the full form on your answer sheet. Please do. Right, correct spelling, of course, is also very important to us, right? Like in any other task in 19 through 24, we don't only have to like find the right form, right? Put the verb into the right tense, put the adjective into the right degree, but we also have to spell the words correctly. So please do be careful here and always check your answers for simple spelling mistakes, right? You will not get a point if you form the word correctly, but you write it incorrectly. So please do always check. Right. And well, in your answer sheets, you do have to use the letters that you can see right here on the screen. You will also see them on your answer sheet. Every time, right, in your answer sheet, you will see all the letters and how you should write them. I always recommend well, practicing right before the actual exam. So practice filling out the answer sheets before you actually get to the exam, because some of these letters are not going to look the way that you usually write them. A lot of people confuse U and V, right? Because well, it's pretty they're pretty similar, right? But you do have to note the difference, and you do have to write all of the letters the way they are here, as to avoid all the problems after the exam, right? When you know that you wrote the right thing, but the computer couldn't read the right thing. So just to make your life easier, please do please do write the letters as they are in your answer sheet. All right, and we're moving on. Right, guys, we're moving on to the strategies, right? These are all the questions that you have to ask yourselves to get the right answer, and be sure, right, that it's the right one. We are going to have a look at all of these things one by one, right, so that you're not lost or scared. That's important to me. I just wanted to show you like the whole scheme. You will find this scheme in our Telegram channel, right? Uh, well, so that you can save it and look at it from time to time, maybe while you're practicing, I don't know, the first month or so. You can look here to get help, right? To remember what you actually need to ask yourself to get the right answer in 19 through 24. We are starting with the most difficult thing, with verbs, right? We're not going to, of course, study all the tenses here, all the voices, and everything you need to know about verbs. Verbs are actually like the biggest topic of grammar in the English language, right? And in 19 through 24 as well, that we have to study. And in our year-long course, we study verbs throughout the whole course, right? So that's a very, very big topic. And we study that big topic part by part, step by step, so that you don't get confused. You get to practice everything as much as you need, right? And so for now, let's just look through the questions. We will have, by the way, just, an intrigue, we will have a separate stream on all the verbs in 19 through 24 and what you need to know about them. And well, all the theory is going to be there. That's going to be, I think it's going to be in September, maybe October, because that's a huge topic and I do need time to prepare it properly. But we will have it. So, subscribe and like this video to get our content regularly. Okay, so having a look at the questions, right? the first question that we ask ourselves, always the first question that we ask ourselves if we see a verb in 19 through 24, is it the predicate or not? Guys, if you don't know the word predicate, that's all right. The predicate is usually marked with this, right, in the Russian language in a sentence. So predicate, сказуемое, right? And that is the most important question for us because, well, our answer depends, our questions, everything depends on the answer to this first basic question. If our verb is the predicate, then we go to the left to the yep column, right? And we ask ourselves a set of other questions. The first one, what is the number of our subject? It's not only, and it's not always about the number, but it is always about the subject, right? We do need to find the subject of our sentence to get our correct answer, right? If our subject is singular or plural, that's not always important because different tenses are formed differently, right? For, I don't know, for past perfect, we don't care if our subject is singular or plural, right? But for, well, let's say present simple, right? That is important. So yes, we find our subject. That's the first step that we do after we have figured out that our verb, our gap in the sentence is the predicate. Then we move on to voices, right? So we think about our subject. Does my subject do this action or not? Or does my action actually happen to the subject, right? So the voice depends on that answer, right? On the question that you asked yourself, right, while you were doing the task. Does my subject do the action or does the action happen to my subject? I'll give you an example here so that it's clear. For example, we have a sentence, Jack, blah, 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 a house, right? And the word that we need to put into it is build, right? Let's also add, I don't know, a date in 2002, right? So here I'm thinking Jack is my subject, right? Okay, Jack is my subject. And well, of course, build is my predicate, right? We don't have another verb in the sentence and we do always need a predicate. So my verb, my gap, is the predicate of the sentence, right? I've answered my first question. Then I'm moving on to my subject, Jack, right? And I'm thinking, okay, could Jack do this action or did this action happen to Jack? Well, of course, Jack could build a house. I mean, it's a very difficult task, but, naturally he could if he really wanted to. So I need active voice because Jack did the action himself, right? I also look at my time marker. I have a particular year in the past in 2002, and that leads me to another question. What is the actual tense, right? And well, here the tense is past simple, right? Because that's the tense that we use for actions that happened in the past and we know when, right? In 2002, we have a particular date in the past. And question number 4, is it a question or a negative sentence? Because, well, if it's a negative sentence, questions are not really popular in 19 through 24, but negative sentences sometimes are there, right? Important. Your sentence, your verb has to be in the negative form only if you have not written right here next to your verb. If it's not written there, do not put your verb into the negative form, even if that makes more sense to you, I mean, meaning-wise, don't do it, okay? Because the task always says if you need to put the verb into the negative form. It's always there. So if it's not there, then the answer to my question 4 is no, it's not a question. No, it's not a negative sentence. So I can put my verb into past simple active voice. Can anybody tell me what that is? What is the past simple of build? Well, built, of course. It is irregular, right? It's an irregular verb, and so we need the second form, right, to put the verb into past simple. But let's also have a look at another example. Let's put it somewhere here, right? If my subject is a bit different, right? The house, blah, 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 in 2002, all right? But I have to put the same verb into the sentence. The house in 2002. Now I'm thinking, what is my subject, right? Because my gap is definitely the predicate, right? We don't have any other verb in the sentence. So my gap is the predicate. I ask myself, where is my subject? The subject is the house, right? That's the first noun in the sentence. And I don't really even have any other noun, right, in the sentence. So the house is my subject. Question number 2. Did my subject do the action or not? Well, a house can't build anything, right? So no, it didn't. It didn't do the action. The action happened to the subject. So I need the passive voice, right? So this step, this question number 2, is extremely important to us, right? And Anna is absolutely right. The house was built. The house was built in 2002, right? It's still the same tense, right? It's still past simple, but it's passive voice because the house didn't do the action itself. The action happened to the house. All right, I hope I convinced you that these questions are extremely important for us, right? If we have a verb in the sentence. But there is another column here, right? What if our verb is not the predicate, right? We have that option too. And well, then our choice is, well, smaller, right? Then the only choice that we have to make is this, well, in simple words, is this verb ing, or is this verb ed, or verb 3, right? The third form of the verb. So gerund or participle 1, they look like verb ing, or is this participle 2? The third form of the verb, or ed of an irregular verb. Sometimes infinitives are also here, but that is not a very common option, right? So sometimes they do put things, they do accept infinitives as answers. They do need you to write an infinitive, but I haven't met a lot of tasks like that. So usually if your gap is not the predicate, you need to choose between a gerund or participle 1 or participle 2. Again, we will talk about all of these non-finite verb forms. That's what they're called, right? Gerund and participles and infinitives. They're called non-finite verb forms. We will talk more about them in our separate stream on verbs. You can also, by the way, find a video on our channel on this topic with all the theory that you need about it. But we will have another stream to practice verbs a little bit more. For now, a little bit of practice for you. Let's do all the sentences ourselves, right? These are only on verbs. The sentences are not connected to each other. They are brought here from all the different tasks. So let's get to it. When the rain, blah, 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 the sky gets very dark. And we need to put start into it. What are we thinking? We're thinking predicate or not, right? That's the first question we ask ourselves. And of course it is. It is the predicate here, right? The rain is the subject. Singular, right? It. It, right? What about the tense? No, first the voice, right? When the rain, the sky gets very dark. So the rain, can it start itself? Of course it can, right? So this is active voice. What about the tense? The sky gets very dark. And we have when here. So this is actually a conditional sentence, right? So which tense do we need to use? Anyone? Well, guys, this is the zero conditional, right? Zero conditional, right? Which speaks about facts, right? In situations that are always true, right? And so we need present simple in the first part, in the when or if part. When the rain starts, the sky gets very dark, right? We got this. Okay, next one. Mary enjoys in her spare time. And we're putting draw into the sentence. First question, is it the predicate or not? What do you think? Is my gap the predicate or not? Skazume or not? Well, it's not, right? Because I have the subject Mary and I have the predicate right here, enjoys. So my gap is not the predicate at all. What do I usually use after enjoy, guys? Well, I know, I hope some of you know too, that after enjoy, we use a gerund, which looks like verb ing, right? So Mary enjoys drawing in her spare time, right? That's our correct answer. And we got to it by first asking if my gap is the predicate or not, and then, well, just knowing the rules on, what form to use after which verb. Okay, next one. When I arrived at the airport, I realized I my passport at home. And the verb is forget. Let's have a look at it. I have multiple subjects here and multiple predicates, right? The first one is I arrived. Then again, I is another subject, realized another predicate, right? And then I got another subject, I, and so my gap is also the predicate. What about the voice? Did I do something or did something happen to me? Well, I and forget, that's active voice, right? It didn't happen to me. We can't make the action of forgetting uh, make someone like what? Okay, so I'm getting a bit lost here. I did the action myself, right? My subject did the action itself. So we need the active voice. What about the tense? Can anybody guess the tense here? Which one do we need? Well, guys, this is actually the perfect, the typical function of past perfect, right? When I arrived at the airport, this happened first, right? I realized this happened second, right? So these two are in a sequence. I arrived, then after I arrived, I realized, but the forgetting actually happened before, right? So the gap would be -1, right? And for a -1 action, for an action that happened before another action in the past, I need past perfect. How do we form it? How do we form past perfect? Anyone? Come on, don't be shy. All right. We form past perfect with had plus the third form of the verb or ed. So I realized I had forgotten, right? My passport at home. So first I forgot, then I arrived at the airport, and then I realized that I had forgotten my passport, right? Typical function of the past perfect tense. All right, next one. Johann Sebastian Bach, blah, 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 a German composer and musician of the late Baroque period. Okay, and we got the verb be, right? Be is not usually used in the passive voice, but even here, right, we can say that, well, Bach himself, right, a German composer and musician. So we need the active voice. This is my predicate. Yeah. And what about the tense? Well, even if I don't know who Bach is, I do have late Baroque period, right? And I'm pretty sure that that's in the past, yeah? Even if I don't know who Bach is, which is actually pretty hard, right? It's a very popular composer, very, well, not popular, but famous, right? A very famous composer from the past. So I need past simple, right? He's dead, unfortunately, but still, he is. So he was a German composer and musician of the late Baroque period. All right, and last one here. The light bulb by Thomas Edison in 1879. And we need invent in the gap. Let's think about it. Definitely the predicate, right? No other verb in the tense. Oh, sorry, in the sentence. Bulb is my subject. So the bulb, invent, it can't do it itself, right? So the action happened to my subject, right? It happened to the bulb. And by is actually a very good marker for passive voice, right? By plus a person, because that actually talks about the actor, right? Of the doer of the action. All right, Olga says has been invented. But why has been, Olga? You got the passive voice, right? That's true. But we have, look, a particular date in the past. In 1879, we can't use present perfect with a particular date in the past. We have to use past simple, right? So everything is important to us in a sentence when we're putting the verb into the right form. So the light bulb was invented by Thomas Edison, right? Do you understand why we need past simple here, not present perfect? All right, well, if you have any questions, please do write them in the chat, and we are moving on. Adjectives or adverbs, right? Another part of speech that we can meet in 19 through 24, and that we have questions to ask, right? To get the right form. The first question we have to answer is my gap, should my gap be in the comparative or in the superlative degree, right? That's the first and basic question about adjectives or adverbs that we have to ask here. Next, long or short. Is my adjective or adverb long or short? Because that is going to, yes, Olga, that's right, because we have a date. Yeah. Right. Sorry for distracting myself. Okay, so long or short, because that is going to help us understand how to actually form the degree, right? How to form the comparative or the superlative degree, right? If our adjective is long, then we need more or most, right, to form the comparative or superlative degrees. And if it's short, then er, est at the end of the adjective. So that's important for us too. And well, the third one, again, is important, of course, right? Regular or irregular. There aren't a lot of irregular adjectives and adverbs in the English language, but the ones that are irregular, you have to remember, right? Good, better, the best, right? Bad, worse, the worst. You probably already have heard at least about all of them, but well, let's write them down here. Good, better, the best, Bad, worse, the worst. What else? Far, farther, or further, and farther. Well, the farthest, or the furthest, furthest. Eight. Right. What else? We also have little, right? An adverb. Little, less, the least. And another adverb, much, more, the most. Nothing else comes to mind right now. I'm pretty sure these are all of them. So if you remember these irregular adjectives and adverbs, then you'll be golden. Right? Comparative and superlative adjectives and adverbs. Absolutely, Olga, you got this. Right. Well, good is an adjective. An adverb is well, right? And it has the same forms. Bad and badly is the adverb. And again, it has the same forms, right? Comparative and superlative. So write them down, take a screenshot, and subscribe to our Telegram channel. We'll have all the good materials there. All right, moving on, guys. Let's practice them a little bit. Right, so all the words here are adjectives, right? Again, taken from different tasks, so they're not connected, but let's practice a little bit. She became the female to ever receive a patent in the United States. And we need to put young into the sentence. What do you think? Comparative or superlative? Well, guys, we have the here in the sentence, right? Which usually means the superlative degree. But how else can we check that we are correct? We have to think about how many things we are comparing here, right? So are we comparing only two things and then we need the comparative degree? Or are we comparing three and more things? One to everything. Then we need the superlative degree, right? Here, Olga is absolutely right. We need the superlative degree because we are comparing this female to all the other females in like the history of the United States, right? She became the youngest female to ever receive a patent, right? Young is a short adjective, only one syllable here, right? So we need est to form the superlative degree. Okay, 2. This huge country, more than 4 times the size of California, has a population, then a number of cities in California. Right, Olga, why smaller? How did you get that? Why do we need a comparative degree here? Why not the superlative? Can you tell me? Well, guys, this is a very good indicator, right? A very good marker, right? For the comparative degree, has a smaller population than a number of cities in California. Again, with the comparative degree, we are comparing two things. Here, we're comparing this huge country to a number of cities in California. Two things, right? A number of cities, of course, that's a like several cities, right? But here it is as one group, right? So we're comparing this huge country to a group. Those are two things. So we need the comparative degree. And then really does help, right? Then through A plays. Yeah, not E. All right, and the last one. I always say, the better the weather, the I am. And Olga is right again. The better the weather, the happier I am. And guys, this is not an easy one because here we have the before the gap, right? Which is usually an indicator of the superlative degree, but not in this case. Why not? Because here we have a particular structure. This is a grammatical structure that starts here. The better, the, again, comparative, the comparative, the comparative. This is a interdependable structure, right? The better the weather, the happier I am, right? So if the weather is good, I am happy. If the weather is bad, I'm not happy, right? These two parts, they depend on each other. So in these structures, we always need the comparative degree as well, no matter the fact that we have the right before our gap. You have to be very careful and read the whole sentence, right? That's very important, not just the word right before your gap, okay? Because here you will always have already one comparative form, right? It's always going to be here. So that's a clue. That's a tip. That's a life hack, right? If you see one comparative degree with the better or the faster or the whatever, right? You need another one after the. Right, Olga, in Russian, but yes, everything is correct. Thank you so much. Right. Okay, guys, moving on to adverbs, right? Adverbs can also be in 19 through 24. It's important to remember that you can't really form adjectives from them here, right? So no other parts of speech. An adverb has to stay an adverb. But the questions are the same, right? Comparative or superlative, regular or irregular. Here we have two adverbs. Both of them are regular, right? And both of them end in "ly," which is actually a very popular suffix for adverbs. A very important thing to remember about adverbs that end in "ly" is that you can't form a comparative or the superlative degree with er or est with them, right? So you always have to use more or most if your adverb ends with "ly," okay? So no slowlier or slowliest, right? Just use more or most. Let's do this. My friend Mary dresses the of all the girls I've met. So here, again, we're comparing this Mary, right, one girl, to all the other girls. So we need, which degree do we need? Absolutely, Olga, the superlative degree. The most beautifully. Most beautifully. Right. And guys, always check your spelling, right? In words, in simple words like beautiful or beautifully, a lot of students make mistakes here, right? Double L. So please do just check your spelling because spelling is also very important to us in 19 through 24. Okay, and the last one here. Last adverb. Mrs. Brown had to ask the man to drive because she was afraid of getting into an accident. What do we think? Comparative or superlative? No indicators here, right? No then, no the. Absolutely, Olga is right once more slowly. Why? Well, here, the meaning helped us, right? They were driving at some particular speed, right? And she wanted to drive more slowly. So we're comparing again two actions, right? How they were already, how they were already driving and how she wanted them to be driving, right? So when we're comparing two actions, we need the comparative degree of the adverb, more slowly. Good, we got this. Guys, moving on to numerals. Numerals are extremely easy in 19 through 24 because there is only one thing you can do with them. You can put them into the ordinal form, right? What's the difference between cardinal and ordinal? Cardinal adjectives are like one, right? Two, three, right? These are cardinal numerals. And the ordinal form, first, right? Second, and third. Well, for these three, right? They are kind of different, but there are, again, regular and irregular ordinal forms of numerals. So these three are irregular, right? But there are, of course, regular ones as well. For example, I don't know, let's say 20, right? 20 is a regular number. And so the ordinal form of it would be 20th, right? So we usually add th to form the ordinal number, right, of a regular numeral, right? Here, spelling is important, right? You see that I changed y into I and then added ETH. So that's the thing you do have to study, right? About numerals, spelling rules, and irregular forms. But once you know that, once you just learn it, it's going to be very easy because you don't really have a choice here, right? The only choice you have to make is, do I need the ordinal number here or not, right? That's it. Sometimes I've never actually met a task where you had to put the cardinal number into the gap, but again, I don't want to say that it never happens because sometimes everything happens for the first time, right? So yeah, let's just keep in mind that you have to make sure you need the ordinal number, not the cardinal one, and then you just put it into the right form and you're golden. You're done. Let's do it. Did you know that Canada is the largest country on Earth? And we need to put two into the gap, right? We have the superlative degree, so we do need the ordinal number. What's the ordinal number of 2? Well, just gave it to you, right? The second. And we got it, right? Did you know that Canada is the second largest country on Earth? I think that's actually true. After Russia, of course. Sounds crazy, but why not? Okay, so the century is the period from 1101 to 1200 in accordance with the Julian calendar. And we need to put the numeral 12 into the gap. For this one, 12 is regular, but for this one, you just need the spelling rules, right? You need to know them. And yes, 12. The 12th century, right? We change V into F and then add TH. Everything else is fine. Okay, and last one. Michelle is having a party to celebrate her birthday. Her 30th birthday. Absolutely. Just like we did with 20, right? We need to change Y into I and then add ETH, right? Again, just knowing the spelling rules and all the irregular forms, that's it, right? Numerals are very easy in 19 through 24. I hope you all get numerals at your exams. All right, guys, please do subscribe and like this video if you like our content, if you like this this stream, right, to get more of us and so that I can see you more often because I do love talking to you and practicing with you. And we're moving on to nouns, right? Nouns can be singular, of course, but again, that's not a likely scenario, right? Usually you do need to put the noun into the plural form. And that's the only thing you can do with a noun in 19 through 24. So again, nouns are also pretty easy in these tasks, right? Because only one choice, singular or plural. That's it. For nouns, you do have to know how to add s, right? So all the spelling rules and special plural forms, right? So again, irregular plural forms. Let's say these are all the rules, right? Again, with my favorite circles. Let's have a quick look at them. With most nouns, we just add s to the noun and that's it. Nothing more. But if our noun ends with x, sh, ch, s or double s or o, we need to add es instead of just s, right? Tomatoes, dishes, right? Dish ends with sh, so we add es. Tomato ends with o, so again, we add es. And of course, there are some exceptions, right? Photos, zoos, kilos, pros, all of those end in O, but we don't add ES, we just add a simple plain S. You have to remember the exceptions. That's how every language works, right? There isn't a rule without an exception in this world. So please do learn the exceptions. Then FE or F. If our noun ends in FE or F, then we change F into V and then add ES. Like in wife, it ends with FE, so we change F into V and then add ES. And knife, same thing, right? But again, there were some exceptions. Cliff doesn't need ES, doesn't need a V. Cliff is all right? So we just add S to cliff. Roof, same thing. Giraffe, same thing, right? I always imagine a very proud giraffe. Yeah, that doesn't need a V, it doesn't need ES, it just needs a simple S and that's it, right? It's a very simple giraffe who wants just an S to form the plural. Okay, guys, and now to ending in Y. If your noun ends in a vowel plus Y, then you just add S. But if your noun ends in a consonant plus Y, then Y needs to change into I, and then it needs ES. Like in city, cities, study, studies, right? And that's it. That's all the rules on the spelling of plural nouns with S. There are, of course, irregular nouns as well, right? Like woman, women, men, men, ox, oxen. Again, please do follow us on Telegram to get all the material on nouns. We are practicing right now. All these beautiful blah, blah, blah were once just villages. And we need to put the word city into the sentence. All these beautiful. These tells me that I do need a plural noun. So I say, right, that I have T, which is a consonant, plus Y. So I need to change my Y into I and then add ES. And I got it, right? All these beautiful cities. Next, believe it or not, aren't always red. Believe it or not, right? Have you ever seen a yellow tomato? All right. Right, the word tomato needs to be here, right? Tomato ends with O, so. O, so. So we need to add ES, right? Not just an S. Tomato is not one of those exceptions, so we do add ES to form the plural. All right, and the last one. Scientists have recently found out that form stronger emotional bonds with people around them. Well, that's a good fact, right? Okay, woman, plural. It's irregular. Guys, it's women, right? I'm pretty sure most of you heard this word. The thing you need to remember about this word is that we change the sound here, right here, women, woman, women, but the letter here. Yeah, that's important to remember. But that's it. You got everything about nouns, right? Moving on, guys, to pronouns. Pronouns are a little bit more complicated, but students usually find them easy because, we have been using pronouns our whole life, right? Yeah, so let's just have a look. What are the questions that we have to ask ourselves? Subject or object, right? Well, subject like I, or you, or he, and object like me, him, and again you, right? You doesn't change. So we do need to understand the position of our pronoun in a sentence. Is it the subject or is it the object of the action, right? Does it do the action or does the action happen to it? I like him. Yeah, I like him. I is the subject pronoun, right? And him is the object pronoun because the action happens to the object, right? Number 2, is there possession, right? So does anything belong to anybody? Yeah, like in I like your bag, right? Your, in this case, is possession. Wait, sorry. Possession, because the bag belongs to you, right? It can talk about things, possession, I mean, can talk about things that belong to you or about relationships between people, right? This is my sister, right? My sister doesn't belong to me, but we do have a relationship. Okay, 3. Is there a noun after? That's an important question if we are talking about possession, because if we have this bag is, right? If we have this sentence, we do not have a noun after our pronoun, so we can't use the possessive pronoun. We have to use an absolute one, right? We can say this is my bag, or we can say this bag is mine, right? Absolute pronouns are very important to us, right? And we do have to remember that after absolute pronouns, we do not have nouns, right? No noun after. You need an absolute pronoun if there is possession included. Right, number 4 refers back to the subject. Yes, reflexive pronouns refer back to the subject. Yeah, like I love myself, right? I am the subject and I'm the receiver of the action. So I'm the doer. I do the action. I do the loving, right? And I'm also the receiver of that action, right? I also receive love. So we need the reflexive pronoun myself, right? Right, and demonstrative pronouns, these are the easiest in the pack. We have this, which can change its number into these, or that, which can change its number into those, right? That's it. That's the only thing these two can do, right? You can't crisscross this, right? So this cannot become those, and that cannot become these. You can only change the number, right? That's it. So just make sure that after your gap you have a plural noun, and that's it. You'll be golden, right? All right, let's try it. We must know how to love, before we can love other people. And we need to put we into the sentence. What do we think? Well, let's think about the doer and the receiver of the action. We and we. So that's the same person, right? Or same persons, same people. So we do need a reflexive pronoun here, right? Because the doer of the action is the same as the receiver of the action. And well, the reflexive pronoun of we is ourselves, right? We must know how to love ourselves before we can love other people. All right, and the last one. His mother told Tom 100 times not to eat sweets. Here he is again, right? Eating them, probably. And we need to change that. The only thing we can do with that is put it into the plural. So I'm making sure that my noun is plural. It is sweets, right? And I need the plural form of that, which is those. That's it. We got this, right? We will have another stream next week, actually, on all the pronouns, right? On all the, little life hacks that you can use to better understand pronouns. We will study all the pronouns that you need for 19 through 24 next week. So please do subscribe, right, to get our new video, our new stream, and you can also, push that bell to remind yourself about the stream. It's gonna happen next week, same time. All right, now, yes, for more practice, please do follow us on our Telegram channel. Here you can see little polls that we have there, right? Like this and like this. Right. Sometimes I post polls on, different tasks in our exam and different options that you can choose from, and you choose the one that you think is correct. If you get a mistake, you can always tap um, this beautiful button to see the whole explanation, right? If the explanation is too long, I usually just write it somewhere in comments, and you can also comment yourself, right? So if you have any questions, you can comment right under the post, which I think is absolutely amazing because, well, I love questions. I love answering them. So please never hesitate to write to me with any questions that you have. You can follow us from this QR code, right? If you're watching this on your computer and you have your phone in your hand, right? You can do that, or you can follow the link in our description of this video, and well, you'll still get there, right? More practice will be there today and tomorrow. So on 19 through 24. So please do follow us, and I hope to see you there on our Telegram channel. Guys, all the things that you need to study for 19 through 24, right? Let's sum it all up. For verbs, of course, we need to study tenses, conditionals, reported speech, right? Voices, active, passive, right? Spelling, how to add all of those endings to the verbs, right? All the irregular verbs, how to write them, how to spell them, all the markers, right? For tenses and voices, and non-finite verb forms. I did mention a video on non-finite verb forms on our channel. If you can't find it, that's all right. I will add another link to the description because, well, we have come across this one too many times today. Adjectives and adverbs. For those, we need to study degrees, exceptions, of course, right? And spelling. How to add ER, how to add EST, right, to all the adjectives and adverbs. For numerals, very short list, right? Just ordinal forms, irregular ordinal forms, and spelling of regular ones. For nouns, I guess we have already studied like 50% of everything that you need on nouns for 19 through 24. We studied the spelling today. You will also find the exceptions, right, on our Telegram channel. Think tomorrow, maybe the day after, but it will be there this week. So please do follow us. And pronouns, right? You do need to understand the logic behind them and, well, of course, the forms, right? But the logic is actually very, very important, right? Which pronoun do we use in which situation, right? All the knickknacks of it. So please do come next week to our stream on pronouns to get better at them. Guys, that's it on the theory part for today, right? And practice part. A couple of words in Russian about our school and our platform for studying, right? For the exam. Все, что нужно для обучения, в нашей школе собрано в одном прекрасном месте, которое называется нашей платформой для подготовки. Там всегда есть все ваши материалы, которые прислали преподаватели, все ваши уроки, все ссылки на вебинары, чаты с преподавателями, абсолютно все в одном месте, в удобном формате. Мне кажется, это сильно удобно в современном мире, да, где у вас есть несколько предметов, по которым вы готовитесь. Все это в одном месте. Интерактивные видеоуроки на нашем годовом курсе. Отсюда вы берете базу теории. Очень здорово, потому что это не просто видеоуроки, да, где вы просто 40 минут сидите и смотрите какой-то видос, который кто-то записал, а потому что все эти темы, все уроки разделены на маленькие видосики, между которыми вы практикуетесь. Да? То есть вы посмотрели урок о... Ну вот, очевидно, о смысле жизни, отцах и детях и науке, да, и сразу же под видосом вы ответили на все вопросы, чтобы закрепить свои знания, да, понять, что вы уяснили, а что нужно пересмотреть еще раз. Очень удобно. А потом только вы переходите уже к следующему такому же коротенькому видосику. Вот тут, если посмотреть, написано 8 минут 22 секунды, да, ну то есть это не школьный урок, да, это сжатый материал, обработанный нами специально для того, чтобы вам было удобно его изучать и удобно его тренировать. Практические семинары это суперская возможность, во-первых, задать все свои вопросы лично, да, если вам почему-то вдруг не нравятся переписки. Переписываться с нами тоже можно и очень даже нужно. Если вдруг вы смотрите лекцию и что-то было непонятно, я всегда призываю писать студентов преподавателю, да, потому что это, ну, это действительно важно. Важна именно вот эта возможность это сделать, да, и для вас это важно так же, как и для нас. Домашки с быстрой проверкой. Сразу же видите результат, правильно, неправильно, почему неправильно, все объяснения тут. Ежемесячные пробники очень важны для отслеживания результата, да, для того, чтобы мы вовремя заметили, где у нас провалы в памяти, в знаниях, да, и восполнили эти пробелы. Удобное расписание, список дел, все предметы разными красивыми цветами, литература синенькая, химия зелененькая, математика желтая, английский розовый. Вот. Чтобы вам просто было удобно ориентироваться в собственном расписании, да, и в списке дел, которые у вас каждый день есть на платформе. Мы всегда на связи, да, это то, о чем я говорила. Чатики с преподавателями всегда открыты для вас, для поддержки, для вопросов, для абсолютно чего угодно, что нужно вам для преуспевания в обучении. Система уведомлений, да, тоже есть. Если вам не нужны уведомления, потому что у вас и так слишком много уведомлений, можно ее не включать. Но если вы периодически забываете о вебинарах, то это на самом деле очень хорошая возможность перестать забывать о вебинарах. Ребят, несколько предложений. Во-первых, сейчас у нас действует акция, и при покупке годового курса вы получаете летнюю школу в подарок. Акция действует и для ЕГЭ, и для ОГЭ. Поэтому очень советую воспользоваться. Скидки сейчас до 50%. Ссылочка, опять же, на покупку, ну и просто на то, чтобы посмотреть поподробнее, под этим видео в описании. Годовой курс, тут даже цены есть на слайде. Скриншотьте, пожалуйста, я не буду читать цифры, потому что я обязательно где-нибудь ошибусь. Но самое главное это то, что 4-й предмет на выбор вы получаете в подарок. То есть вы покупаете 3, а 4-й целый предмет, целый курс по этому предмету вы получаете в подарок. Плюс летнюю школу. Да, летнюю школу ЕГЭ-ОГЭ — это наш базовый 2-месячный курс для такого кикстарта, да, всего вашего обучения. Также индивидуальная консультация по профориентации и подбору учебных заведений, если вы все еще не определились, куда вы хотите пойти после того, как вы сдадите этот прекрасный и одновременно страшный экзамен, это прям очень поможет как-то настроить свою голову, да, определиться, ну или если не определиться, то хотя бы увидеть разные опции, да, увидеть, что у вас вообще-то есть выбор. Это тоже очень важно, порой важнее, чем определиться. Программа профориентации у нас тоже существует отдельная, да, то есть вот тут вы покупаете курс и получаете индивидуальную консультацию, а вот тут вы можете купить целую программу, да, профориентации, которая включает в себя профориентационный тест, карту персональных компетенций, список подходящих профессий, консультацию ту же самую, да, консультацию по выбору университета, по выбору направления, образования, подготовлены экспертами, поэтому очень доверяем, да, и проверяем. Проверять тоже важно. Поэтому, пожалуйста, приходите, записывайтесь. Снова по ссылочке в описании вы найдете более подробную информацию и сможете записаться на консультацию. Буквально добавив свое имя и телефон, вам обязательно перезвонит наш менеджер и расскажет все очень подробно. Если вдруг вам не нравится, не знаю, сидеть на сайте и читать самостоятельно, можно просто оставить свой номер и послушать приятный голос менеджера. Ребят, спасибо большое за сегодня, за участие, за то, что пришли. Рада была видеть всех тех, кто участвовал онлайн. Надеюсь, что многие из вас досмотрели в записи. Ставьте, пожалуйста, лайк этому видео, подписывайтесь на наш канал, чтобы не пропускать наш контент. Я буду очень рада видеть вас вновь на следующей неделе. Наши семинары проходят каждый вторник в 15:45. Поэтому, пожалуйста, приходите на следующей неделе, будем говорить про местоимения. Have a nice day, everyone, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!